Hey, what up, everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you. Live celebration here at the beginning of Monday Night Raw. The Authority coming back and their first real act of being back in charge since they were not a part of SmackDown this week was changing the main event of the Royal Rumble. Big time surprise. John Cena had to jump through hoops all over the place. He had to beat Randy Orton at the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view. He had to beat Seth Rollins at the TLC pay-per-view. And now, finally, this Seth Rollins just gets added into the match. We've been looking forward to this John Cena versus Brock Lesnar match since it was first made in October. And now it's a three-way. I think a lot of people out there feel the same way about three-ways as they do I think a lot of people out there feel the same way about three-ways as they do, fuck this. I think a lot of people out there feel the same way about three-ways as I do. I really was looking forward to the end of the trilogy between Brock Lesnar and John Cena. I think this match really is setting up what this year's WrestleMania 31 is going to be, and it's going to be a big one. And wow, I mean, the Authority coming in and just really fucking things up right off the bat. Well, and now, Rollins, I guess he's in the title picture. He doesn't even have to, cash in his Money in the Bank. I don't think it's ever been in their plans for somebody to become champion while having the Money in the Bank briefcase. I don't know if that would, null and void the case, or he just, automatically always has two rematches in his bag if he was to become champion. I don't think WWE's ever thought into that. He could lose his match and then automatically cash in his rematch, and then have his automatic rematch for losing the championship in his back pocket for the next show somewhere down the way. But definitely one thing that could be thinking of. I think a lot of people were looking forward to seeing Rollins cash in either against Brock or against Cena at the Royal Rumble. Now he's already going to be at ringside, so you don't have to be looking at the back, seeing when he's going to be coming back. He could be just inflicting damage all throughout the whole match, and if he gets the pinfall, he becomes a champion. And even if not, he's lurking in the weeds, waiting for a moment for the winner to put their hands up and sort of forget that he's there, and then bam, hit him with the briefcase, cash it in, and he becomes the winner that way. But Triple H and Stephanie coming back, you can already feel the ripple effect of them coming in. Who knows that this is going to be something that Sting is lurking in the rafters for, looking down and trying to find some way he could change this up as well. We still don't know why the vigilante Sting butted his nose into Triple H's and Stephanie's business at the Survivor Series pay-per-view, setting up a WrestleMania match that we can all dream of. But we will see what happens sooner than later. So check this out with the rest of Monday Night Raw, and I'll see you guys down the road. Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. I was able to watch the opening segment of Monday Night Raw tonight, basically because I took a later lunch than normal at work, and I think that was pretty fun. I might look to start taking my lunch a little bit later in order to catch that first segment of Monday Night Raw, to catch the feeling of what's going to be going down. But now that I'm home, and I am checking out Monday Night Raw for tonight, this is the it isn't December, it's January. The January 5th edition of Monday Night Raw. The second match, or I guess this would be the first match, but the second segment of the night was an Intercontinental title match. Bad News Barrett going up against Dolph Ziggler. And this looked like a good, exciting match. Of course, everybody knows that Wade Barrett came back from his long injury last week. He beat up Cesaro on Monday Night Raw, which was sort of a surprising thing. I know a lot of people have been looking for Bad News Barrett to be some sort of a baby face. I know that he's came out and he's got loud ovations before. When they go in the UK crowd, when they go on the UK tour, the UK crowd always tends to cheer him, and they've used him to close out the shows over there because of how much of a babyface he is. There's no chance of even trying to get this guy to get any heel heat. So beating a guy like Cesaro, I thought that was him coming back much like Ryback did. That he came back as a babyface. Now here he is pairing off against Dolph Ziggler, maybe a former Intercontinental champion. I think Barrett's held this belt 3 times. I think he was the champion back in the core. He lost it to Ezekiel Jackson. He won it from some mystery person. He lost it at 29. He won it back the next day. So maybe this is... Yeah, that would make sense. He'd be a 3-time champion, and coming into this match, maybe he just wants to be the Intercontinental Champion. Maybe it's a way of, sort of solidifying him as a mid-carder and being in the mix with Dolph Ziggler. This match went very, very fast. It was basically a surprise pin. Dolph Ziggler was able to get a surprise quick roll up on Wade Barrett, and then once the match was over, they had rang the bell. Barrett basically just started beating the crap out of Ziggler, and I was like, wow. I guess that face turn didn't last long, and here he is, just solidifying himself as a babyface. Maybe trying to get a match at the Royal Rumble to try and fill out the small part of the mid card that they need for the show. Maybe having a Dolph Ziggler versus Barrett Intercontinental Championship match. The beating just kept going on and on and on. And I'm thinking, well, Ziggler doesn't really have anybody that he's feuding with right now. He hasn't since the Luke Harper deal, and Harper's been nowhere to be seen, so now basically we've got something going on here. And then finally Kane pokes his head out of the back, and he comes walking down there. He apologizes for the lack of communication, but this match is a best of 3 falls, and Wade Barrett was just continuing the match. He was, had privilege to this information before it started, but Dolph Ziggler didn't. So basically from there, Wade Barrett just kept on, putting the beating onto Ziggler. Barrett was able to capture the second fall, as I think we all thought it was going to do. And from there, we was on to sudden death. So basically, Wade Barrett and Ziggler were fighting. Basically, Ziggler was able to hit Wade Barrett with a super kick, and from there, Kane jumped up on the apron, trying to buy Barrett some time. From there, Ziggler just got pissed at Kane, so Ziggler hit Kane with his own super kick. Because of that, Wade Barrett was able to get up. He was able to recover. He was able to nail Ziggler with the bullhammer. And from there, he just got the 1-2-3 to regain the Intercontinental Championship that he hasn't had in a little while. So it looks like Wade Barrett, is in a good spot coming back. He's able to beat Dolph Ziggler. He's been in the Intercontinental Championship picture for a good little bit. He lost it right before TLC. No, he lost it before Survivor Series in order to get some heat on Luke Harper, who was joining that team, becoming a bigger heel than he was, and being able to be a part of Team Authority. And he's able to win it back at TLC, and then awesome, and an awesome ladder match. And then here he is in a normal match on Monday Night Raw, building up to the Royal Rumble, loses it. So kind of weird. We got to see what this whole John Cena appreciation night is all about. Have to see what this is going to be in the main event. And of course, we also got the ambulance match coming up. So this should be a fun one. Sit down, grab your popcorn. I got mine, and enjoy some Monday Night Raw. Alright, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with the December 5th edition of Monday Night Raw. We just got done seeing Seth Rollins have been added to the main event of the WWE Royal Rumble 2015. From there, we saw a new Intercontinental Champion crowned with Bad News Barrett pinning Dolph Ziggler in a best of 3 falls match. From there, we go to the Big Show going against Roman Reigns. This has been like Roman Reigns' sort of last big hurdle before the Royal Rumble. There's a lot of people out there thinking that Roman Reigns or Daniel Bryan's going to bring home the big one, winning this year's Royal Rumble. I know that with Daniel Bryan returning last week and saying that he was going to join up and be in the Royal Rumble, no word on where he is. I haven't seen him on Raw yet tonight. But, Roman Reigns has been going up against Big Show for the last little while. This is a big test for Roman. That, Roman's going to have to win this deal. So many times you see the last guy in a battle royal being a big guy like this. Of course, you think of the Andre the Giant battle royal was Big Show being dropped out by Cesaro. You go back to Royal Rumble 1990. That was Earthquake being eliminated by Hulk Hogan. So many times you have to see, a really big fat guy go over the top. And I think Roman Reigns is looking really strong. Got to make him look strong. Everybody knows about this. And this is probably the best match I've seen from Roman Reigns since his days in the Shield. As far as singles matches go, I thought this was very, very good. A lot of back and forth action. You would think with Roman Reigns going in and being one of the heavy favorites in the Royal Rumble, he would just be, running over people and just be all she wrote from there on out. But basically, there was tons of back and forth, everybody going back and forth. Finally, these guys, they were outside on the floor, and basically, Big Show nailed Roman Reigns with the steel steps. The steps have been a big thing ever since, TLC, tables, ladders, and chairs, and stairs. played in, and they've really been playing up on that. But basically, Big Show hit Roman. That was able to cause the disqualification, but they didn't stop from there. Basically, the fight got back into the ring where it looked like, Big Show was chasing down Roman Reigns, and he wanted to really, put that big blow on Roman and take him out with those steel steps, but I still don't even know how it happened. Basically, Roman Reigns was able to hit the spear on Big Show, and when he did, basically the steps came down and just tombstoned Big Show right in the head, and Roman Reigns was able to bask in his victory. He got the DQ victory when Big Show hit him with the steps, but I mean, hitting the spear on Big Show, he didn't get to pin him and get the 1, 2, 3. But it was a real big, sort of feather in his cap that he's able to put there, saying he beat the Big Show for real. I'm thinking that more than likely somewhere before the Royal Rumble, we still have a few weeks to go. I'm thinking that Roman Reigns is finally going to be able to put this to rest and get the win over Big Show, pinning him 1, 2, 3. But this is just something to make him look real strong in the build-up to the Royal Rumble, where he might win the big one. Here we are. We've just gone through WWE Raw Death. 2 matches in a row that honestly I just had no cares for. Normally, sometimes when you're at a big show or you're watching a big show, they have a big, awesome match, and then they send out the divas to sort of cool you down a little bit, for the next big main event. So that way when they come out, you get all loud and you're not still, you have time to rest in between matches, basically what it was. The next match after this one better be a damn good one, because we just sat through Luke Harper versus Eric Rowan, where Luke was able to get the win after one of his clotheslines. And, during the match, you had Noble and Mercury on the outside, acting as pretty much guest referees. I refuse to care about any match that these guys are in, singles or against each other, until we find out why these guys broke up. It's just me. Until I have that part of the equation, I have no cares. From there, we go to an ambulance match. Bray Wyatt against Dean Ambrose. This was built up. This was, I thought, which was going to be the main event tonight. Seeing how basically everybody knows the story, but we'll run through it one more time. Bray showing up at the Hell in the Cell, ruining Ambrose's chance to beat Rollins. From there, they had the TLC match. From TLC, they went to the boot camp match. They went to the Miracle on 34th Street match. They had the, didn't they have a singles match at the Survivor Series? Yeah, they had the singles match at the Survivor Series, so we have seen them have a singles match, just without anything. And then, of course, now we polished off with the ambulance match. I'm sure somewhere along the way I missed some sort of a match. So, they built from a singles match to the TLC match. They immediately went to the, boot camp match, which turned into the Miracle on 34th Street match, and now you finish it off with the ambulance match. I'm pretty sure that's the way it went down. Maybe something I missed along the way, but I think a lot of you guys are like me, just in this already. This didn't work. I know when this happened at Hell in the Cell, and it looked like Wyatt and Ambrose were going to go on their ways to have an awesome deal. Ambrose was going to be able to have a more, direct, weird style of promo. Bray Wyatt was going to be able to play in on Dean Ambrose's past, and we were going to be able to find out more about him. We didn't get none of that. All we got was a big pile of crap, and that happens sometimes in wrestling. We got to see Bray Wyatt main event a pay-per-view at TLC. We got to see Dean Ambrose main event his second pay-per-view of the year, with the Hell in the Cell and TLC. So maybe there is some good that comes out of this. I don't really remember the TLC match off the top of my head, so yeah, it is what it is. But everybody's been, talking about how Ambrose loses all of his matches on pay-per-view, any kind of a big deal that he's in ever since the breakup with the Shield. I don't think Dean Ambrose has thought one time about him losing these matches. Ambrose is probably in a better situation he is now than he was when the Shield breakup went down. He's just one of those guys that can lose and stay hot. I mean, the crowd is with him. I don't think he's turning into another Dolph Ziggler. Well, that's kind of a cheap shot there, but I think some people might understand what I'm saying if if you hated what I said there about Ziggler and Ambrose, leave it in the comment box below, and it's well deserved. I just didn't have a way to think of it, but Ziggler's another guy that, whenever this guy gets hot, all of a sudden they just need him to lose a match, and that turns into 1 match to 2 match. Next thing you know, Ziggler hasn't had a win in a month. But I think Ambrose has some sort of a magical thing right now. No matter what he does, he could lose a match to Fandango on SmackDown this week, and people would still cheer that motherfucker when he walked out on Raw. But this was a match that Bray Wyatt got the win. They had a lot of cool spots in this match. We had the big elbow from Ambrose putting Bray Wyatt through a table. But basically, the story of this was just basically that Bray Wyatt was able to take out the knee of Dean Ambrose. He just beat him to the point to where he couldn't keep going anymore. We basically saw Dean sell the knee throughout the whole match. Bray was hitting it with all sorts of weapons. He was banging against the ambulance itself, with using the ambulance as a weapon. I'm just glad we didn't get the fall through the top of the ambulance. When Bray Wyatt jumped on top of the ambulance, that's where I thought it was going. I mean, we've seen guys fall through limos. We've seen people fall through the ambulance before, with the gimmick top and everything like that. But it was what it was. Basically Bray Wyatt was able to hit Sister Abigail on Dean Ambrose, but Dean Ambrose was able to prevent himself from being stuffed into the ambulance. He just was fighting off, and finally they got to the point where Bray Wyatt hit a second Sister Abigail, and they packed Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt packed up Dean Ambrose, threw him in the back of the thing, and it was over. Crowd didn't really react to this match at all. I think, like I said, I think a lot of people are just praying for this to be over with. Maybe Ambrose, we won't see him until his return at the Rumble. Give him a couple of weeks off. From here, Bray Wyatt, I don't know what he does, but I don't know. I hope it's good. I mean, that's all I gotta say. I keep on hearing people talk about WWE and Bray Wyatt's and like this elite group of guys that is the future of the company. I mean, you think of how all these guys that are out there right now, that everybody always talks about the Shield members. You got Ambrose, you got Rollins, you got Reigns. People talk about Bray Wyatt as one of these main eventer guys that's supposed to slip into this Undertaker role. As of right now, I don't see it. He hasn't had a real match. He hasn't had a real angle. He hasn't had anything that really connected to me. I liked the SummerSlam Fire match with Kane. I didn't really understand what happened. I didn't know when Kane returned. I didn't know why Kane wasn't a part of the Wyatts. Where was he for so long? I know he was making his movie, but you would think that they took him back to their house and they hypnotized him and they joined the thing. I kept on waiting for them to have people join up into their group. Maybe take a guy like Zack Ryder, a guy you weren't doing anything with, and sort of hypnotize him. He falls into the trance of the cult. And next thing you know, Zack Ryder is this guy who was a babyface that they weren't doing anything with. It's not like Ryder has to be out there scoring all sorts of wins, but I mean, like, Ryder has been like Ryder and Hawkins when they were the Edgeheads and La Familia. I mean, like, they were the tag team. They were the tag team champions. They were winning their matches pretty cheaply. But I mean, like, when they interrupted in matches, they were the guys that were there to get beat up. So I mean, it wasn't like they needed to turn Ryder into a big star. Who knows? He's in there so long, people start cheering for Ryder because they know that he is acting up because he's under the spell of Wyatt, and then he finally is able to break that spell. Maybe they could have jump-started Ryder, and he could have been something in the company again. But that's what I was looking for. Bray really hasn't connected with me. I don't see him as being a future star of the company. I understand why people have him linked in there because of his family lineage. And, he was in Deep South. He was in NXT for so long. And that, Triple H isn't going to give up on those guys. I mean, we keep on seeing Adam Rose get shoved out there week after week. And that's not working either. So, I don't know. He's in that special group, so we'll have to see where this goes. I'd be really surprised to see what happens. This is a matchup we'll probably see later on in their careers. They're so young in their WWE career. If they're going to be here for a long time, the main event, they're going to match up again. Let's just hope that next time it works out better than this time. All right, here we are. We're gearing up for the main event. Seth Rollins and Kane going up against Ryback. This one started out where basically it was just going to be some sort of a singles match. And I was, thinking, man, Rollins versus Ryback. This is going to be a good one. These are two of those guys that are, on the top right now. I can see people picking Rollins. Well, not anymore. Fuck me. I was thinking that Rollins had a chance to win the Rumble. I didn't have him as one of the main two guys up there with Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, but I could understand people picking him. But after the opening of the show, Seth Rollins being put into the main event picture, I can understand people saying that Rollins has a chance to win it. I can see people picking Ziggler. I can see people maybe picking Ryback as a guy to win the Rumble and sort of complete the storyline that's going down. But when this match was about to start, here comes Kane walking down to the ring. But unlike last time, he's not corporate Kane. This is Kane geared up for a match, no mask. And once he gets into the ring, he forgets. He mentioned something to us that he forgot to tell us along the way, is that this is the handicap match. And this is going to be Seth Rollins and Kane going up against Ryback. Ryback didn't back down from the fight. In fact, this was a pretty even-keeled match going back and forth a little bit. Ryback at one point picked up Seth Rollins, and he was about to deliver a big shell shock, which I'm sure would have been able to win the match, but Kane was able to grab Seth, pull him out of the move, which ended up being, Ryback hitting Kane with the finish. And when he hit it, basically Seth snuck up and was able to deliver the curb stomp onto Ryback. Once the first curb stomp was done, Ryback had to be taken down with another curb stomp, which led to the pinfall win. I know that when some guys have fallen to the curb stomp, especially multiple ones, we don't see them for a little while. So I'm not sure what this means for Ryback, if he's disappearing from the show for a little bit. Maybe taking a week off, maybe 2 weeks off before coming back and have a big return right before the Rumble to make him, a few more people want to pick him in their Royal Rumble pools. But Seth Rollins and Kane, they end up pulling out the victory over Ryback, as they should, in a handicap match if Ryback was to do it. I made a video earlier today talking about Ryback going up against Rusev, who I didn't see on Monday Night Raw tonight, basically saying that, Ryback is being beaten a lot. And this is one of the things that led to the demise of Ryback, which basically, Ryback lost to Punk twice, once on Hell in the Cell, another one on Monday Night Raw. Then he went into the Royal Rumble. He had a strong showing, finishing number 2, and then going on to the... he lost in the Chamber, didn't he? Not the actual Chamber, but he had that Chamber match against the Shield. Wasn't it him and Team Hell No against the Shield? I think at Elimination Chamber. Regardless, the big match that he lost was the one to Mark Henry. That's when a lot of people really lost faith in the Ryback, and he was able to turn it around, turning heel and having the match against Cena. But I think everybody knows what happens when you go up against Cena. You take the 5 moves of doom, and it's done. So I'm hoping that they have a plan for Ryback. It looked like they had one when he came back and had the I'm gonna be a baby face, and then all of a sudden he joins the Authority because they signed his paycheck. Next thing you know, he's in the locker room and people are calling him the wrong name. People are pissing him off, and he just turns on the Authority, joins Team Cena, and then rolls in, getting the win at Survivor Series, and then here we are now. Hopefully they're still going to be working with him and doing something, because I'm looking for some big things from Ryback. I'm a big fan of his, and I don't know, seeing him lose to this match, seeing him being beat up by the Big Show, and Rusev as a team on SmackDown, not good. You got to have some heat. I mean, you gotta give a little bit. But Ryback's the kind of guy that the more he gets, the more fans get behind him, and that's when he's going to be at his best. Oh, shit. The end of Raw. The thing that when the Authority walked out last week, everyone sort of groaned and complained about, happened again. This is one of the reasons why everybody hates the Authority. They're supposed to hate the Authority. They're the main heels. WWE has been running wrestling in general has been running the heel general manager, heel owner, heel person in charge for basically since 1997. Since the screw job, that is the staple in wrestling. The owner hates everybody and wants to screw everybody to keep them down so they don't have to pay them. make this guy champion because he thinks it's best for business, this, that, or the other. This is what people hate, and WWE has stepped up to the plate and delivered again. When the show started, Triple H came out and said basically that they weren't going to do things the same this time as they'd done in the past. And he broke that promise in the same 3-hour show. Triple H, and Stephanie, they brought Cena down to the ring for John Cena Appreciation Night. And there wasn't really much appreciating that went down. Not good at all. Basically, Basically, Triple H told Cena that it was time to dump all the hustle, loyalty, and respect crap. He sees the big picture of John Cena, that he is a great talent. He just has been real hard on him over the years. And basically, Triple H was thanking Cena for all the money that he's made the company, all the money that he's made him. And at that point, Triple H invited out John Cena's Survivor Series teammates, Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, and Ryback. The reason why Big Show didn't come out is basically because Big Show turned, and he made the deal with Triple H during the match where he walked across the ring and shook Triple H's hand, and Triple H was stunned. This was definitely something that wasn't planned in the back. This was definitely a gut decision by Big Show. At the time he did it, Big Show looks like an idiot. It was 3-3 inside of the ring. It did give the Authority the leverage in this match. 3 guys against 2 guys. At the time, 3 guys against 1 guy. Why Big Show didn't believe in himself, John Cena and Dolph Ziggler, basically taking out Cena and himself at the same time. Maybe just Big Show didn't like being a babyface, or I still don't really know why he did that. They really haven't shown what deal Big Show has gotten. He has the ironclad contract from John Laurinaitis, unless that deal expired and he's been signed to another deal. But with all the problems that he and Triple H have had, where basically Triple H was using Big Show's house as leverage against himself, and saying that Big Show hadn't made the right choices in his life, and Big Show was running out of money, and this, that, and the other, and used that to basically build up what we thought was going to be a Big Show versus Triple H match. Ended up being Big Show versus Randy Orton and killing the whole angle. They've never spoke of it again. But basically, once Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, and the Ryback came down to the ring, basically all the guys were lined up and told that they were going to be given some sort of punishment for what happened at Survivor Series. I think I talked about this in my video today, talking about that Triple H and Stephanie, the Authority, was going to make these guys' lives hell for basically them not being on television for 2 months. And basically, they started with Eric Rowan. They started with the bottom, and they worked their way to the top. They basically called Rowan the wild card. That basically he joined the team, and they sort of respected the fact that he stood outside of the box. He didn't really have anywhere to go after the Wyatts broke up. But the punishment needs to be handed out, and they suggested a 30-day suspension. From there, basically, Steph, brought up Ryback, saying that he turned against the Authority, joining the team first, and then basically turning on them and starting a war, going over and joining Team Cena, and that his suspension should be more than Rowan's, where they said 60-day suspension. Boom, done. And then we move on to Dolph Ziggler, and for Dolph, they asked him, what would your suspension like to be? Bringing up the fact that it was Dolph's fault, being the guy who scored the pinfall over Seth Rollins that ended it. And Dolph basically said 90-day suspension, basically building off 30, 60, 90. A 90-day suspension for Ziggler would bring him back in time for Mania. He would miss the Rumble. He'd miss Fastlane, but at least he'd get that big WrestleMania check. The guy that they need to be mad at is Sting, but you can't suspend a guy who doesn't work for you. And they're just trying to get back at everybody, but not blaming the main guy. From there, basically, Triple H and Stephanie, they took some time, but they walked out of the ring to think over these suspensions that they had handed out, walking their way up to the ramp. And basically, they turned around and Stephanie said, hey, we've thought about it. We're not going to suspend any of you guys at all. Instead, you're all fired. fired them all right there on the stage. Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, and the Ryback all fired, and John Cena is the guy to blame. And from there, Stephanie and Triple H basically, drop confetti down. They're playing music. They're dancing, being all pumped up that they've, screwed John Cena. It's John Cena's fault. He's got to carry this with him, that 3 men lost their jobs. He's not going to have anybody to stand behind him going into this fight against Brock Lesnar and his arch nemesis Seth Rollins at the Royal Rumble. He's going to make him a lot of money, but John's not going to be happy with what's going down. Basically, you saw Stephanie and Hunter dance a bit. They basically made out right there on the stage, confetti and balloons dropping all over John Cena. The 3 men just left not knowing what to do. And the Authority gains control of WWE now, basically shattering everyone. In my mind, I'm guessing that all 3 of these men are going to be on Monday Night Raw next week. Maybe we can get one of these Sting appearances where Sting rights the wrong of Triple H. I don't know if you have Sting stand up for him, but then again, do you really see WWE without Eric Rowan? Maybe. But do you really see WWE without having Ryback and Dolph Ziggler being a part of the fold right now? Just having John Cena as we got Roman Reigns too, as your babyface. Daniel Bryan's not going to be on television probably until the Royal Rumble again. You're just not going to have any babyfaces except for the Usos? I don't think so. So, we're going to have to see. Here's your cliffhanger, building towards next week. 3 guys lost their jobs. Thanks a lot, John Cena.